Welcome to the Film Mechanic Screenwriting Podcast with Derry Titan. Hey, what's going on? This is Derry Titan with the Film Mechanic Screenwriting Podcast today. And today we have a special guest. This is a young brother I met out selling my first film. And let me tell you, this brother talked to me like he wanted to be a world-class actor. And what was so funny about it is just his aura, his personality, just everything about him, the way his body was built, just made me see him as the character. And so we went on, we made a film called Love Bones. He turned that role out. And I want y'all to see it if y'all get an opportunity, so you can heap some more praise on him. He ain't stopped there. Nope, he ain't stopped there. That was like a little toe in the pool with me, and I was appreciative of that. But what he has done has really, he has dived in the ocean, and swam with the big boys. This is killer whale material right here, y'all. Marcus Carothers, how you doing, brother?
How you doing, brother? Mr. Derry Titan, Mr. Legendary, how you doing, man?
I'm good.
You know, I appreciate the introduction, and I just wanted to say how it's amazing how things happen, because I remember during that time when you were putting together Love Bones, and I was fresh back out here in society during the time, and I was a child actor from years ago, but I was trying to reestablish myself as an adult. And I didn't know where to go. I saw nobody that I could connect with that was serious. And I know that it was a God-sent move to have you right where you were posted at. Because it was like the perfect time. And for me, you know, where I was in life at that time. And just having that conversation with you, and then us connecting, me doing the casting, and then actually doing the film itself, I saw something that I had never seen before. I had been on sets before when I was a kid and all that, you know, on the Oprah set and all, the big budget sets. Mm-hmm. I had never been on an independent film set ever.
What's some of those things you did early when you were a kid?
I started off in commercials. I did like Nintendo, Wonder Bread commercials, General Motors, Double Mint, and I went on to work with Eddie Murphy on a Christmas film. His first film as a producer, The Kill Love Christmas. And then I did some work with Oprah. I became a regular on Brewster's Place, a series on ABC with Oprah before it went off air. That was early on in life as an actor. I had never been on a set before. But to see you orchestrate that film as the producer, director, writer, gaffer, sound tech. I sat there and I watched that, right? And I was captivated, whether you knew it or not. I was so captivated to the point to whereas it turned into a level of inspiration. I said, wow. I said, I'd spent a lot of time writing stories and all this shit, but I never would have imagined that one man can take control of a production and actually not only take control of a production, but complete a production. And boom. And that was it. I remember all the conversation and everything. So I just want to say, thank you for being the first source of filmmaking inspiration that I ever received, because frankly, I never wanted to be a filmmaker. But after seeing you do it, actually, added some guidance to a guy's life that was fresh out of prison, man, and trying to find a sense of direction. So, yeah, I just want to share that with you.
Real quick, tell us after Love Bones, what's going on after Love Bones?
Okay, after Love Bones, directly after Love Bones, I had I don't know what it was, man. I was just like, I remember we had our red carpet event, we had a viewing and all that. And what I was unaware of was a lot of people knew about me as a child actor when Love Bones. So when I told them I was doing this film with you, a lot of people came out for it. But I had no idea that many people are really rooting for me. I had absolutely no idea. But it was at the event, we had, you know, red carpet or whatever, showing the film and just seeing what it did to other people that I was actually in a film project, you know, like that. And I promise you, it gave me an overdose of, once again, inspiration. And I told myself, you know, I'm going to finish, you know, writing this full-length feature film, which was Vulture City at the time. And I didn't waste no time. I remember we did Love Bones. I remember I shut down that November of that same year. And I gave myself 90 days to finish my first script, complete feature. And I started, I was working in the salon at the time. I worked every single day for 90 days on the script, 90 days straight, no break. And I completed it in February, and I had a casting for it in that April. That was right after Love Bones. Directly after.
So you did Vulture City, and then you did
Vulture City? I did Vulture City Part 1. I did Vulture City Part 2, which is called City of Vultures 1. And then I did a film called Lady, which was ongoing chapters of a film about women in relationships from an urban perspective. Yeah, and then from there, I went back and I started doing more Vulture Cities. I've shot five other chapters of Vulture City since then. So yeah, it's I've been the urban genre. I've been writing a lot of gritty urban genre material because of the cult following. You know, the cult following likes the Vulture City films.
Oh yeah, the thing of it is you have it's a powerful film, and I think most people can go into it and say it's relatable to their storyline. But Marcus, the thing of it is yeah, you're writing relatable material, but you're also educating in them films too now.
Yeah.
Let's not shortchange, you know, that part of it, because you know, one of the things of it is that I do know about you is that how you look at our community and how to better this community, how to strengthen this community, how to create a community where we don't have the things, you know, some of the things that were a part of Vulture City. You know? So when you look at the messages in it, so I'm intrigued by City of Vultures 3 message. I don't want you to go into it because I want to see it, because that little boy is so captivating seeing him.
He's feeling it.
I mean, you've had other little boys in the other one, but this one is reading something different. You know what I'm saying?
He just got picked up for Marvel Disney. Braveheart. I think it's called Is it Braveheart? Ironheart. He just got picked up, man. Major. They made him a regular. I don't know how big this thing is going to be, but it's Disney Marvel. So, you know, it's huge. You know, his mom had me in tears the other day. You know, pretty much he was just calling me. He was having a conversation about giving little black boys opportunities, you know, to you know, that you know, I don't think nobody's been told no more than young black men. And I told myself, I have so many people so many of them that gravitate towards me for film opportunities. I tell them, if I see the desire, the drive, and the dedication, I'm not telling you no. You know what I mean? I start you off small, may not be nothing big, but you know, if you come to me basically for that type of opportunity, 9 times out of 10, I'm gonna try to, you know, make something happen.
But that's the point. One of the things about, like, you know what I'm saying, just being around you is you're a ball of inspiration as well. So as you are inspired, I mean, like seeing you, you know, on social media every day is very inspiring. So I have a question for you, because I know you write a lot. So the question is, do you structure or do you not structure your work?
I don't structure. It's very unorthodox. You know, it's not a technical style to the way I put together scripts and script format. But I know where it came from. You know, it came from the acting background. I've never done a final draft script, ever. I've never put a script in final draft. I've never done a technical, you know, layout for a movie script according to the standard of how they're supposed to be laid out. My script has never looked that way. I just, I looked at so many scripts and plays over the years or whatever, and reading them from an acting standpoint. I kind of mimicked, you know, how I would see a theater script and just laid it out that way. Very, you know, understandable, you know, once you get off into it. But yeah, I've never did the structure part. And I'm glad we're talking about that, because I could, go off into that a little deep to kind of, give you on the deep end and, let you all the way inside my method.
Mm-hmm.
How I write.
Yeah. What's the process like? So as a writer that does not structure, and look, somebody's listening to this like, wait a minute, how you getting a movie on Apple TV and Derry telling me I got to structure every day? Wait a minute, hold on. Wait a minute. I say I teach a writing process. I have to reiterate that, a writing, because everybody has their own writing process. Mm-hmm. So, as a writer as a screenwriter who does not structure, mm-hmm. right? But so walk us through a little bit more of your process when you're getting your story out.
It's strange. It's strange. And the reason why I say it's strange is because the moment I have the notion of a film or film concept, right? The characters and emotions and the moments in the films play out in my head. Whether it's dialogue between two people, friction, love, whatever it is in the relationship. I actually, in a cinematic way, I see them play out. I see the action methods play out in my head. Once I do that, that's when I start, if you want to call it outlining, while I jot down my notes, as far as the relationships and the people or whatever, and the characters, his strength, weakness, or whatever it is I want to, make, put emphasis on. And then when I do engulf myself and the shape, I start the dialogue, on this particular day, on such and such date, this person went here, there, whatever, I'm still in that cinematic mind frame. I'm waiting to see it play out in my head. I'm waiting to see the emotions, the expression, the walk, the way his voice is, if it's distinctive, you know what I mean? Or the relationship with his wife, I need to see it. And sometimes we don't see it right off. Sometimes I don't see it right off. I'll give you an example. Right now, I'm at a point whereas I'm introducing a main character in my new film, and his mother was just assassinated. I'm trying to develop a way, how would he mourn? This is brand new to me. How would I make this person? How does he deal with it? Is he a hard dude? Does he drop one tear? Does he not? And what is the conversation like after finding out his mother has been murdered? I have to see that play out visually in my head, like an actual short film, and then I write it from there. I just steal from that actual visual that I have in my head. So I think that's where the whole filmmaking process helps my writing. Being a filmmaker helps my writing that much more, than a person that's,
I love what you said about being able to feel like a large part of what you were discussing was not only just seeing it, but the connections, and connections is the emotional component of it. Like, how do these things connect? Like, and I think a lot of times people get caught in the desire to tell a story so bad that they forget that their characters have to connect. Their characters legitimately have to connect. So what's your favorite character you ever written?
Oh, good question. The character that first comes to mind that sticks out the most to me is City of Vultures 2. You saw this clip. I had this woman beating the crap out of her son for being a gangster disciple, right? I've never had clips on social media get millions and millions of views like that. On so many different people who stole it off my page and reposted it on their little vlog sites and all that there, and they were just going viral. Tiana Hill is her name. That was City of Vultures. And I think with her, I wrote that from a standpoint of knowing mothers that lost their sons to the streets. And this was like her moment to save him, whether she felt like she had to kill him herself, to let her know, like, you ain't about to go out here and get murdered or go get life like your father. It was so much of a connection with that. And I think it goes back to what John Singleton said. You write about what you know, right? Remember we had the discussion?
Yes.
Because me knowing about a mother that lost her son to the streets, and about those strong women that used to be in the streets, that know the game, that used to be gangsters, but made it out. And now they telling their son, like, look, you ain't going this way over my dead body. Me knowing of those people helped that character development and that moment be my favorite, you know, in everything that I wrote. Yeah, as far as the characters go. Yeah, she's my favorite to this point.
Man, that is awesome. And I'll tell you,
yeah,
anybody listening to this will be able to, that's gonna make them go watch the movie.
Yeah, it's honestly, man, that scene, and it's bad, man. It's like, cause Tiana Hill is like, it's the second time she killed it in another one of my films. She did great, and it's sad. I just find it funny. I know, just off of the writing side for a minute, you have so many people. It's funny, sometimes you get the best performances out of those that are not really strongly wanting to be actors and actresses, but they just have that natural second nature to perform. And yeah, so I definitely got, yeah, I had my writing moment right there. That was dope for me.
So let me ask you this question. A producer gives you a blank check to produce any film you wrote in the world. What are you writing?
Oh yeah, Blank Check, Chicago '85, Grandma's Hands. That's a film I wrote during the pandemic. It's my grandmother's story. So yeah, that one. And the only reason why I say that is because everything I do is kind of like, my grandmother always was motivated, you know, factor behind. You know, she was at the red carpet event every time I was on, you know, performing, and, you know, my whole life, you know what I mean? So she paid my Screen Actors Guild dues the whole time I was incarcerated, 7.5 years. You know, she just paid the dues. That's why when I got at you outside the restaurant, I'm like, this old lady been paying my dues, man. I got to get back in front of the camera. You know what I mean? So yeah, definitely, man. That's the Chicago '85, Grandma's Hands. You know, I would.
And one of the things of it is to have someone to support you on this journey is really important.
Yeah.
You know, and how could you not write that story, right?
Because and it's funny because we live a very awkward life as artists and art and writers. We're different. We don't connect with the world the same. We give people the ability to see things different, you know, through our perspectives. It's like in order to do that, it's like we take on so much and just and take information and spew it out in a way for people to be entertained by. And I find that it takes a lot of isolation. You know, it takes for us to be heavily isolated to do that. You know what I mean? Heavily focused. It's a routine thing. Writing is routine. If you don't do it every day, you're not finishing the film, bruh. I'm sorry. I don't care what movie you try to create. If you ain't writing every day, you're gonna lose a rhythm. You lose a rhythm, you're gonna be constantly talking, yeah, I'm gonna finish this script, this movie, I'm gonna do this and then all that. I find it so important. So in me establishing that rhythm and being an isolated individual that's wrote so many films and still writing, it takes a special kind of person to say, you know what, I see what you're doing and I'm in your corner, because it's very lonely. It's very lonely. You have to be by yourself on the writer's journey. You have to be. You know what I mean? You can't have everybody. You know, anything else is distraction. So if you do get a person that actually, which for me it was my grandmother, that actually, you know, believes in you and supports you on that journey, you want to make something special happen, you know, with what you're doing just because of that alone. Yeah.
And you are, I really feel like you have listened to all of the other podcasts in season 2 and gave it all back to me, right? Like,
oh, really? Oh,
yeah, like seriously, yeah, like. But the thing of it is before we get out of here, right? I gotta ask this question. I ask all my guests this question, Marcus. What's your gold? What's the nuggets of wisdom you carry with you on your writing journey?
Right now, it's all about legacy. I'm at the point now where the goal has just become, how do I want to be remembered? You know what I'm saying? I never thought in life, you know, when I was developing this whole thing, that I would get to the point where I said, you know what? Now it's all about legacy. Um, I ain't gonna lie, I spent the last 2 years filming like crazy in Chicago with this respect thing. Respect was the primary objective. I said I write films, but I don't feel truly respected in what I'm doing as a professional, you know, as it pertains to Chicago and just dealing with that energy back there. So, you know, I use that as motivation, the respect thing, show people like, yeah, I do this. I write movies, I produce them, and I get them done, sort of thing. But that's one of the things that I had to. We all need some type of motivation. So yeah, that's one thing. But on a broader sense, um, legacy. Right now, I want to do as many films as I could actually produce. I want to show my range as a writer. You know, that's so important right now, to allow my imagination to take me to places that are different, that I'm not familiar with, that I wonder about. And then organically creating worlds with my writing and inviting people in and making it a truthful place to dwell. You know what I mean? And I mean, and I only say that because I was toying with this Avatar concept, you know, watching clips of Avatar, looking at Robert Zemeckis films, and a lot of stuff that had me so captivated and amazed. And as a kid, you know, I was watching these people create something called Star Wars and Return of the Jedi and Ewoks and all of these characters and animals that don't even exist, but yeah, they made a world, and the world became a multi-billion-dollar world that people have been watching and enjoying and revisiting over the last 30 years. This is what I want for my writing. That's what I want for my writing, you know, to create worlds, to break rules, to not be, restricted to a certain place for my writing. I don't want to just do hood films and films about people getting their head knocked off and blew back and all that. So, yeah.
I really appreciate you for coming on to the podcast, Marcus.
Yeah.
You know, Marcus
Carothers.
Marcus Carothers on the podcast, on the Film Mechanic Screenwriting podcast today, y'all. I want to thank you for your time and your consideration. Marcus, before we get out of here, where can they find you? Where can the listeners find you at?
Well, my content, I just sold a lot of it off of my website, but dreamtv1.com is where you can see a majority of my work. Vulture City on Instagram, VultureCity on Instagram is where I upload most of my clips and everything, you know, film clips and so on and so forth. Marcus Carothers on Facebook. I've been minimizing my, you know, I get busy on social media when I'm in production. That's what you get to seeing a lot. When I'm in pre-production and writing and all that, I'm real quiet on that. You know what I'm saying? Like I just, you know, I'm in the kitchen. You know what I'm saying? Cooking. Definitely. Yep.
I love it, man. I love you, man.
And love you too, brother. Thank you for having me.
You more than welcome. I can't be who I am without you, brother. Trust me.
Same here, man. Same here, definitely. Same here. Same here, man. It's like they say, you have, you know, when God establishes purpose, you know, well, He's established purpose in all of our lives, but He gives us assignments, and a lot of us have been chosen. We have so many people's destinies that are tied to what we do. My destiny was attached to you. You know, you being the first independent filmmaker that I ever got up under to actually see work. And it gave me something that probably no school, no conversation could have ever gave me. You were being used and you didn't even know it. Trickle down effect. I'm launching careers in entertainment. I have actors that I was just, you know, telling you about. They doing big things now through opportunities that I was able to give them early on in their career. That wouldn't have happened if I was not inspired by a Dairy Titan. See, destinies tied to what you do. It's imperative. So we all under assignment right now.
So before we get out of here, Marcus, the last thing I want to say is at the end of this podcast, and I don't want it to be emotional or sentimental. I do want to say rest in peace, Turion Wilson.
Yeah, rest in peace, Turion Wilson. Yep. That's one of the brothers both of us were familiar with, you know, worked with over the years. He was my lead actor from my first film all the way to the last film I just produced. And so yeah, that's been a lot of heavy hearts, but I'm emphatic. Maybe that's not the word I'm looking for. I'm ecstatic. That's the word I'm looking for. I'm ecstatic just to know that I was able to give that brother opportunities to do what he dreamed of doing before he left this earth. And man, that right there, I can't, you know, hey, if nothing else, that was the blessing.
Yeah, that's the blessing. And that's why, you know, I don't, you know, and I thank you for that. I work with Turion and I love how y'all work together. And you know, he was a lovable dude, man. A real lovable dude.
Very ambitious. Very ambitious.
Very ambitious.
He wanted this bad. Man, he wanted it so bad, bad. And I prayed that he got everything that he wanted to get out of his career. I hope that when he shut his eyes, that he was able to say, you know what, I did that because he wanted it. He wanted it, man. That's why I was so cool with doing this interview. And I'm like, Mark, it's like, you don't never really talk about film, period, you know, and all that. Definitely, you know, jump on this is what you like to. I talk people ears up off about film all day, and they don't know what the hell I be talking about. So this was, you know what I'm saying? This was on point right here.
For everyone that's out there that's listening to the Film Mechanic Screenwriting Podcast, I want to thank you for taking the time out to hear one of my favorite filmmakers, my favorite brothers, Marcus Carothers. We appreciate your support. Be sure to leave a review and a comment and share with your closest screenwriting friends. Stop by www.derrytitan.com for the Film Mechanic Screenwriting Workbook. And we'll see you next episode. Have an awesome, awesome, awesome day. Peace.